Hi guys, Stephanie from Cake Nation here. Today's tutorial we're going to learn how to make a construction worker Lego man. I've got some orange modelling paste which I've rolled out quite thick and a pre-printed picture of a construction worker. I'm going to make the trousers and the top separately, so I've cut off the trousers, making sure that my modelling paste is all the same thickness, and then just chopping around the shape of the trousers. I'm going to do the same for the top of the Lego worker, so I'm just chopping out the top and then I will chop that out around the modelling paste. Once you've done that, you then want to make the same indentations in the legs as what's on the picture. So I'm just using the back of my knife to do this, and for the feet I then want to smooth out that area just so it comes in a little bit as it would be on a real Lego man. Carry on making the same lines from the picture that you've got, smoothing those out with your Dresden tool, and then you want to create an indentation through the middle just to create the legs. Now I've got a little scalpel that I like to use for this. Smooth out where you've taken that out with your tool and then just make sure that you're happy with it once it stands up. Make sure that the top fits on there perfectly, taking off any excess if needed, and then glue these together with either edible glue or a bit of water. Next we're going to work on the arms, so I'm just rolling out some orange fondant again, rolling it quite thin and testing the thickness at the side of the Lego man. Once I'm happy with the thickness, I'll then just chop the amount off that I need, making sure that both arms are roughly about the same height. I'm going to stick those on with some edible glue or water and then flatten one side slightly. You can do this with your fingers or with a tool if needed. You may need to re-go over the lines that you have created on the fondant figure once you've stuck the arms on. If that's the case, you just need to re-go over with your Dresden tool. The next thing we're going to work on is the hands. So I've got some yellow modelling paste that I've mixed, and I want to roll out a little sausage shape and then just curl it over and make sure that that's the right size and fits on the hand nicely. You want to do this for both sides, so do exactly the same again, another sausage shape, and then just fold over. You need to stick these on with either your water or edible glue, whichever you've preferred to use, and leave that to dry while we work on the neck and head. So I've got a small piece of yellow modelling paste and I'm just going to roll that into a circle and flatten, and that's going to sit on top of the body for the neck. The head is going to be quite a big shape, so again a bit more of your yellow modelling paste, roll it into a circle, and then you want to roll it into a sausage and just flatten slightly. So you can see I'm just having a few different goes just to make sure that I get the right size. You can check the size of the head just against the picture that you've got as well, just to make sure that you've got the correct proportions. Place your head to one side, and before we work on anything else, we'll just paint the detail on the front of the Lego man. So I've got some silver paint here. I've put the link in the description box below so you know exactly what I've used. And you just want to copy what you've got on your picture already. So painting on some silver around the waistband. And again, just making sure that your edges are neat. If you've managed to go over a little bit, if you just use a bit of water just to go across, and that will take off any excess. You then want to create a second strip just above where the first strip was, as this is what's on the picture that I've got. Carry on putting all the silver on the top, just exactly like your picture. Be careful to keep your lines very straight. If you do make any errors, you can just take this off with a bit of water and your brush just to neaten up the lines. I've got some royal blue that I'm just using to create the V-neck on the top of the outfit that we've got. It is quite dark. In hindsight, I should have used a bit of a lighter blue, to be fair. Creating another silver line right down the middle of the suit. This will create the zip just on the front of the Lego man. Once you're happy with this, go back to the blue and then just make the lines from the picture that you've got. I've got a piece of tissue just to take off any excess that I need. And I'm just copying the picture that I've got, making sure that it's as near to that as I can get. I've got some black sugar flare and I'm just going along the outline of the zip area, making sure that the line is quite thin, so you will need a bit of a thin brush, and then just painting on a little bit of a zigzag to create the zip effect. You will need to go over all of the outlines for each of the silver lines that you've put on there. You can see for the zip, I've got one straight line, one diagonal line, one straight line, and that will give the effect that you need for the zip. I'm painting on the pockets as per the picture that I'm copying. It is always best to have something like this either on a movable mat like I've got, or some tracing paper, just to make sure that you can actually move it around and you're not having to constantly pick it up. It's going to be wet from the paint and also wet from where it's actually sticking together, so it's ideal to be able to move it around without having to pick it up. Once you're happy, I'm just going to use some cocktail sticks in the bottom just to hold the feet on, and it will also give it something to stick into the cake as well, so it's got a bit of extra support rather than just being glued on by the feet. I've taken some black fondant and I'm just creating some small oval shapes for the eyes. Now you'll notice the Lego men's eyes aren't really a full circle, but they are slightly oval. So you want to create two that are roughly the same size and then stick those onto the face that you've got. Once you're happy with those, you need to take some white fondant and create a smile for your Lego man. I just rolled out a bit of white fondant and then cut that shape down with my scalpel, using my fingers just to soften up the edges a little bit. Once you're happy with the size and shape of the mouth, if you use a little bit of water or edible glue just to stick that on the face. Now the next thing that you're going to have to do with the mouth is take some of your black paint and a really thin brush, and you've got to outline the mouth and then draw on some teeth. So you can see that I've got a really thin brush. I'm going around the top bit first, around the sides, and then around the bottom, and then I'll create a small line either side of the corners of the mouth just to give the effect of the teeth. Once you're happy with that, you need to take some of your white modelling paste again and cut yourself some really small white shapes just for the eyes, for the light reflection in the eyes. So I take off a bit of white fondant and just chop that in half and in half again with my scalpel just to make sure that they're really small, and then use a little bit of water just to stick those on. Once those are in place, this is what you should be left with so far. Now for this construction worker, I've chosen not to go with a helmet but actually to go with hair. And then it struck me just as I'm recording this voiceover that actually it looks a lot like Emmet from the Lego movie that was released not so long ago. All I've done is I've taken some brown fondant and rolled it out and created a well in the top just with my thumb to create the shape of where the head should actually sit. I've put some water on the hair and I'm just gluing that down using my Dresden tool to create a hairline and taking off any excess that's needed just by cutting that off with the scalpel. I'm creating the hairlines just with the back of my tool, making sure that he has got any excess that's in there just taken off. Keep playing with the hair until you're happy, taking off any excess with the scalpel and any excess water with the back of your brush, using the Dresden tool just to create the waves in the hairline as would be seen on the Lego figure. Once you're happy, stick the head onto your body that you've already got and leave to dry on a dummy tier. Here's what you should be left with. Here's the cake that I put the Lego men on. I have done a tutorial on how to cover a number cake and also the exposed Lego work. If you do like this tutorial, please subscribe to my channel so that you don't miss out any of my other tutorials. Also, if there's anything else that you would like to see, if you comment below and I can get working on a tutorial for you. Thank you.